Hey mates, welcome from explorer.com. In this video, I'll be giving you an introduction to servlets. Let's see that. Okay. So servlets, what are we are going to discuss about servlets? This is be going to be our agenda. First, I will start off with an introduction, and before going to introduction, I'll be discussing about request and response, and after that I'll be going with server architecture, lifecycle, web container, session management, and then talking about JSPs, JSP elements and all. Okay, first let me discuss about request and response model. So request and response model, whenever whenever you are browsing through your site, let me browse here. Suppose I am typing the URL called Google in my, see here at the bottom, whenever you are requesting something, suppose if I type for mysadhana.in, I'll just click enter, I'll just enter, and at the bottom of this you just see that it is sending request. It will be, see here, sending request, right? You have seen that it is going to send the request, right? And this is the response. So what is this? Let's see. And so here my client is going to be my browser. Okay, in my browser I'm going to type this URL, that is some URL here, and I'll just press enter, and after I press enter, there is the request going at the bottom to the server, and the server fetches the data from that particular whatever URL it is. It will fetches the data from that and displays the content like this. Okay, this is the request and response model. So let's talk about who is requesting and who is responding. Okay, so whenever you type anything on your browser, the client is going to be your browser, and the response where it comes is, that is called as server. Okay, there is server which is going to respond to your request. Okay, you might send any number of requests. The server is going to handle all these requests. Okay, that is called as HTTP request. HTTP stands for hypertext transfer protocol. Okay, and this server sees what is the request, and it responds to according to your request. It just responds, and that is through HTTP only. It will be displaying your HTML data. That is request and response. So here the client is going to be a browser, and the server is going to the one who is responds to your request. Okay, and what is request and what is response? So whenever you are sending the request, there will be some methods, that is HTTP method, the actions to be performed. So HTTP method, in the sense, what should be the action to be performed by this to the server. Okay, you are requesting to the server, so what is the action to the server? That is HTTP method. Second is the page to access, a URL, that is I typed here mysadhana.in, right? So that is going to be my URL here. This is going to be my URL. The page to access a URL. And next is form parameters. Form parameters, in the sense, suppose if you have a Gmail and you want to log in into Gmail, the form, the name, email address and password which you are typing is the form parameters which the server takes. Okay, these are all which are going to be in the request, HTTP request. Okay, next, what is HTTP response? The key elements of response stream are the status code. Okay, suppose you think, if I type something like exploreall.com slash ga, you think that, suppose I type this, see here, it is giving me a response that is an error. The requested was not found on this server, right? So why it is, this is a error response. because the file which I had typed here, explorer.com/ra, is not there on this server. The server is not able to retrieve that particular file which you have typed on. So that is the error. So that is the status code, that is 404 status code. You may have many status codes like server error 505, 404, and 202, that is success, the success measure as 200. Like this you might have the status code. Okay, that is the status code. And next is content type. So when the response, when you are requesting that what should I respond, that is what should the server respond, that is the content type, that is text, picture, or HTML. Okay, and the final is the content, and whatever you are requesting the content, it will be responded to the response, HTTP response object. Okay, and next, coming to what is the servlet. So where does the servlet comes into picture? Whenever I am requesting something, the server is responding. So what the server is responding is just the static pages it is going to give the response. Okay, and suppose if I want to retrieve the dynamic information from the server, that is, if I suppose I want to access my mail, only my mail, because mails are personal, right? Suppose if I have a Gmail account, I'll type the gmail.com, right? And in that I'll be using that form. By using that form, I'll be entering the email ID and password, and after enter into that Gmail account, I'll be displaying, it will display all my emails, right? What the my personal emails will be displayed in that. So how it is going to be, that that is done by these servlets. So servlets comes into picture there. Web server application is only able to display your static contents and all. Other things are done by this helper applications called servlets. Okay, this, whenever you want to access the database, I mean you access the databases and all, this servlet application comes into picture. It will say that I can handle the dynamic request, you don't worry. Okay, this is where the servlet come into picture, right? I hope you understood, and stay tuned with explorer.com. We have a lot to learn in further session. Thank you guys. Subscribe to us on YouTube, explorer.com slash youtube.com/explore all tech.